This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Tonight is Tuesday, January 21st, 5 o'clock, our regular Board of Trustees regular meeting. Call the meeting to order, Dave?
Yes. Mr. Gentleman?
Here.
Mr. Mahoney?
Here.
Simcoe here, and Jill is absent tonight.
We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any additions or deletions? I didn't see anything, Oliver.
Nothing further.
Okay. And then hearing of the public, we'll have that, Kevin, we'll have that on the back end of this thing for you, okay? And then we have the consent agenda for 7-1, 7-2, 7-3, 7-4. John, do you have any questions on that at all?
I'm looking at 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was item 7. Well, yeah. 11,
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
We good with that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, zoning department, Daryl?
Should we take the roll on that?
Don't we have to?
Do we have to approve a resolution on all those?
No, but we can do the consent then.
Yeah.
But we still have to say yes.
The resolution.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, John.
I'll offer resolution 25-011, 25-012, 25-013, and 25-014, all authorizing purchases in the road department.
Second?
Mr. Gentleman?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. Hi, Daryl.
I've got the zoning department operations report for September through December 2024. I can answer any questions there may be on it.
Any questions, John? I don't. Thanks, Daryl.
And then I have resolution 25021, authorization of abatement of debris. This is for the property on Black Oak Drive, 6,000 to 64.
So are those the same addresses that we've visited before?
Yes.
What's our plan moving forward? I mean, obviously we can't go in there every quarter or, do we?
No, we're open to suggestions if anybody.
Okay.
Because no one there seems to acknowledge responsibility or even know who's putting all the trash out. Most of the residents there or the owners live there. There's a few that are rental.
Will we lien the property that we pick the material up from or?
Well, that's the problem because it's 8 addresses on one parcel.
And are they all individual owners or is it one?
Right.
Okay.
It's one parcel, and to me, the fairest way or most equitable way would be everybody gets billed 1/8. But
It's not your stuff. You're going to be irritated.
yeah, talking to John Burrell, we can't do it that way. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Do they have a homeowners association or anything that we could attach or?
Well, that's what, Dean puts notices on the door as well as sending the letters out, hoping somebody's going to come forward and say, hey, you need to contact, John Doe. He's our HOA president.
Yeah.
Nobody has. Obviously, somebody's got to be
Yeah. Okay.
in charge of the association. It's the only place in the township we have this problem.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll offer resolution 25021, abatement of debris.
Second.
Mr. Gentleman?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Daryl.
Good evening, Rob.
Good evening. 2 additional items, resolution 25015. This is authorization to hire an assistant foreman. This was discussed during our budget meetings, and as the township grows, so does the work, and so does the workforce. So this additional assistant foreman, we generally had over the years. So back in 2008, when we did our budget cuts, and that was one of the positions that was let go. And, we've gained 28 miles since then, additional mileage. We've gained 2 additional utility workers. I'll tell you after this resolution, ask for 1 additional. And that would take us back to our 2012 strength. So I just wanted to give you a little background.
We know you do a good job, so.
Any questions, John?
No.
I'll offer resolution 25015 to Assistant Foreman.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, resolution 25016, is authorization for road superintendent to advertise for hire a utility worker position. This would take our current strength from 11 to 12.
Questions, John?
No.
I'll offer resolution 25016, hire utility worker.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, trustees and fiscal officer Simcoe. The first item for the administrative category is Resolution 2517, the resolution updating township policies on attendance and sick pay. Summary has previously been sent to the board. In terms of the sick pay policy, this would provide for sick leave to be used by an employee for attendance at medical, psychological, dental, or optical appointments for themselves or an immediate family member. It would implement a reporting of absence provision with advance notice requirement, and would permit excused sick leave with a physician statement, and also provide for the ability to conduct a fitness for duty exam when the employee returns. The attendance policy would be updated to tie in with the revisions to the sick leave policy, and it's clarified that it would apply to non-union employees. I'd be glad to answer any questions the trustees may have.
I'll offer resolution 25017 to township policies on attendance and sick pay.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Next item is resolution 2518, the resolution appointing a worker member for the Joint Economic Development District. Applications were requested, and there were 2 which were received from Justin Frost and Grant Robinson. This would be to fill the existing vacancy on the Joint Economic Development District Board, which was created when Warren Sangstock resigned. This would be for the remainder of this term lasting through August 2nd, 2028.
So are you recommending a name?
Not at this juncture. I'm not personally familiar with either candidate. If it were the board's pleasure, it could reach out, just talk to both of them if that were the desire of the board.
I haven't talked to him.
I haven't either. I did look them up online and searched them, but I didn't know either one of them. Maybe if you ask them to come to our first meeting in February, and we could ask them a few questions, and then we'll make a decision either that meeting or the following. There's nothing pressing out there right now, is there?
For February 4th?
No, I mean for the JED.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not at this time, there's nothing.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Fiscal report, Dave?
Yes, so on resolution 25-018, we just took it off the agenda for now.
25, I'm sorry.
Yeah, on the appointing a worker member on the judge.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, correct.
Yeah, fiscal report. Well, we have the December analysis, and you guys have seen it. It's actually very good. Our revenue came in very nicely, especially in the general fund. And if you look at our expenditures, they're actually very good too. They're all below the 100% that was budgeted. I think the Oliver and the department heads are doing a good job of budgeting and working hard to maintain what they budgeted and come in less. And so I think it's a very good report for 2024 for the whole year. And unless there's a question, I'll move on to resolutions. Okay, I'll offer resolution 25-019, township appropriation from unencumbered balance. And this one here, we did omit, and it's right around there somewhere. Yeah, on 25019, we did not include under on accounts 239, 263, 50173, and that how much the grants were. And one was $350.85, and the other was $925.86. So I'd ask you to pass this resolution.
This is for 25019?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Questions? I'll offer resolution 25019, township appropriation from encumbered balance.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
And next resolution 25-020, and that's to establish new expense account and appropriate funds. Basically, data storage is really the what we're expanding or spending some money on. So I'd ask you to pass this resolution.
Who's handling the data storage?
Sammy?
It's eMerge, it's for all of our, because we're taking all of the hard copies and files and we're putting them digital. So,
And now we're paying to store them digitally.
yes.
Are we destroying the old documents
Yes.
as well? Okay.
So it's all part of our record retention.
Okay.
I'll offer resolution 25020 for appropriate funds.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
And lastly, resolution 25-022, and that's approval on approved payment on the then and now purchase certificates, and that has to do with the payment for the Teamsters and Industrial Health and Welfare Fund in the amount of a little over 27, well, almost 28,000.
And this is for their health insurance, correct?
Yeah.
Because they get it through the
Health and
Teamsters?
Welfare Fund, yeah, and we received it in February, and we had already, before our purchase order dated 1/13, so the invoice came in early, but yes.
And that's for the entire year for the 11 employees of the Teamsters?
1 month of coverage.
For 1 month, okay.
Yeah. It'd be nice if it was for.
I wasn't, that's why I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
a low number.
Gentlemen, insurance, you're first up on that one, huh? Can we get a motion on this one?
I'll offer resolution 25022, approve payment of then and now certificates.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Thanks. And then, John, we're going to push back the approving of funding agencies till next meeting of February.
Is there a reason? Because I'm comfortable with what we have. I mean.
You know what, I just didn't know, with Jill not being here, I thought that she wanted to put any input. Did Jill offer any input on any of the?
So when I circled back to Trustee Johnson, I let her know that it was, outside funding would be considered to be pushed back, but I didn't ask for anything.
Okay. I thought just out of respect for her to give her a chance to add anything if she wanted to for the first week.
Okay.
And then the third week, speaking of that, while we're talking as trustees, I'm on vacation the second meeting of February. I won't be here, so we can either push that back to the last week if that's okay, or you two guys can run with it, so. But just as a heads up.
So you're out, but that, we can do it the first week of.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Okay, hearing Kevin, come on down. If you don't mind, Kevin, just for the record, I'll have you introduce yourself, your address.
Yeah.
And I caught your name saw you in the Blade editorial this morning, so thanks for saying a few things in the paper.
Oh, I'm notorious. So, I'm Kevin Webb. I live at 9234 Twin Creek Lane, in the township, and that's in the Brookside development.
Sure.
Right near the corner of Britt and Mitchell. The county auditor has implemented a new process for determining property valuations. She's admitted that the process is botched. Dozens of properties in Brookside subdivision have been given values 30% to 110% higher from the last valuation. These values are clearly not based on market value and are wildly inconsistent. Her new process seems to be arbitrary. The problem is many times larger than the 346 county properties that the auditor originally claimed to have fixed. At least that's what she said on Blade recently, when they posted the 346 some properties. In today's Blade, she's admitted to hundreds more properties being misvalued. Now she's saying that we each need to file a complaint with the Board of Revision and attend a hearing before that board in order to have a change in the value of our properties considered. Many of my neighbors have filed requests for valuation changes with the auditor, and they have all been rejected without any explanation. You get a postcard in the mail, just says no. Why should we be forced to file an appeal when the auditor admits she made the mistake? The Board of Revision has effectively indicted the taxpayers, and we have to prove we're not guilty of a problem created by the auditor. So I have two questions. The first one is, so what are the Sylvania Township trustees, what are you doing now, or what do you plan to do to help the township taxpayers with this issue?
Well, I got my postcard in the mail just like you, and my property went up like 70-something%. And, you know, it's kind of out of our hands. I don't know, we can send a letter from the board asking it, but when they came in and gave their presentation earlier in the year, I think it was, you know, there was an average of 30% for everybody in the county. And obviously, you know, there's some lower and some higher, but that was the average. But you know, we don't have much to do other than the same things that you can do, to be honest.
And I have one neighbor whose value went up 110%. His taxes are going to go from $13,000 a year to $25,000 a year.
Now, they say it's not a dollar for dollar on the valuation of your taxes and things, but again, it's kind of a squirrely answer compared to some of the numbers we're seeing.
And then this morning in the paper, she was blaming the class that your house falls into, A, B, C.
Yeah.
Well, we've done an evaluation of 24 properties in Brookside that were all built within 3 years of one another back 18 years ago. They're all Bs or B minuses or B pluses. And the values, the new valuations increases range anywhere from 30 to 90%. There's some 18-year-old houses.
Yeah.
So there is no rhyme or reason to this thing. So it would be appreciated by the taxpayers if you did send something to the auditor or the commissioners or both, indicating that it's unreasonable to expect the taxpayers to have to defend themselves. They need to redo this. Just stop it and redo the whole darn thing, to be fair. Because it just keeps getting worse every few days. My second question is, so what's the process for the impeachment of an incompetent county auditor? I've tried to look it up in these statutes for the county and for the state, and I can't find anything that is specific about an elected county official and how you get rid of them through impeachment. There's got to be a way, but I don't know.
I would think it'd be like a recall, which would require, 10% of registered voters' signature on a file?
The last election, I think it's 15% now, yeah.
The 15% of people that voted for that office, or?
The last election.
You can't track that, really.
Yeah, it'd be the last general election. I think that's what they're doing in Maumee.
Okay.
That's a good question. Oliver, could we just get that clarified for Kevin on that? And selfishly, I think Kevin's right. I mean, we have an out-of-town appraiser that's coming into our county. I'm not sure, there's plenty of good local companies in town here. I don't quite get the demographic on how we would hire somebody out of the Dayton area to do a marketing survey in our township, number one. Number two is I'm on that list, okay? And I was one of the lucky 300, okay? I think it's grossly, well, yeah, so you've got a neighbor on Holt Road that I've been calling Adib Awad, and Adib's went up like, he got a $10,000 tax bill just for raw land. And I've tried to call the county, they're not even returning calls. I think it's worse than the auditor's office. I think it's worse than we even can imagine, to be honest with you. And I'm not opposed to, and again, John and Jill's not here, but I'm not opposed to Township sending a letter off indicating the stresses that we've had. Sammy, Oliver, you guys are getting calls. I mean, this shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the shit rolls, right? And we're down we're at the bottom of the food chain here, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
But I do think we ought to have something from the township. And John, I don't know what you think on that, but.
I'd like to see what the township's average went up. You know, can they identify that to see if and again, I think it came from the state that said values should go up 30%. So that came from the state, and then they come in and lay that over.
I've done some research about that.
That's what Anita had always come in and told us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anita talked to my wife a couple days ago because my wife contacted the county commissioners. And she said that the state, I just forgot what the name of the division is within the Department of Taxation. Tax equivalency, I think it's what the Division of Tax. And she told my wife that no, the state cannot force a county auditor to tax at a certain rate. To value at a certain rate. She's a former auditor.
Yeah.
Anita ought to know.
Yeah, and I gotta believe, our rates are much different than Delaware County and things. I mean, we're kind of a depressed county here compared to some of those around Columbus that might deserve higher numbers.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is what the commissioners and what the auditor needs to know is that we now have a group of citizens that we're ready to get the state attorney general involved. If she's not going to stop this and nip it in the bud and start over again and do it fairly, that's the road we're heading down. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kevin. Am I going down the wrong path here? It's maybe the township just saying, hey, we're tired of these calls. I mean, you're not, is that, what do you think, Oliver? I mean, I just like to put a pause on this and let these guys figure this out first. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, we can certainly share the feedback that we've received with the county auditor's office. Certainly, we're glad to take any calls we get from citizens to explain as best as we can within our ability and our authority what the process looks like, what it means, the board of revisions as an option if that is applicable. But we can always take those calls to help, but there's only so much that we can do in Sylvania Township. So to the extent any further communications passed on, we can certainly draft any communications that are desired.
I mean, Kevin, you ran a hospital, all right? When there was crisis management, you put people on the phone to be able to answer the phone. You can't even get a hold of anybody down there.
We communicate.
And you communicated. So there's been nothing, in my opinion, and there's been nothing from the standpoint of having a staff there answering phones. There's not, you're just going to the abyss when you call over there. And I'm in the title business, so I've got my hands full with all this myself. So I'm seeing it firsthand, your frustrations.
I'm sure. Another thing that Anita said, told my wife, was that it is in the power of the county auditor to just stop tell people, look, just pay at the same tax rate that you paid last year until we figure this out. And we'll get back to you.
Yeah, I overpaid and I sent my check in until I saw my name on the paper.
I saw, I'm already
Yeah.
screwed.
What's the best way to get back to Kevin if we hear anything? Oliver, can we just like out of respect for Kevin and his wife and the neighborhood back there, can we get back to Kevin on our circle back what we did, may have done, or if anything?
I can give you the phone number.
So you're telling us not to pay our taxes, Neil?
No, I
My question is this, we're not solving.
Is this just Lucas County or is
Yes.
this state?
Oh, I don't know.
This was just line in the bleed. So the way it works in the state is they do a certain number of counties each year, not all of them. So that, I think it's every 3 years you have to update it.
Yes.
So 88 counties, I don't know how the math works, but
Unless you sell it for more than 20% of its currently appraised value, then the school district will go for an instantaneous change, I believe.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is really a mess because people have paid.
Yeah.
There's probably, I'm familiar with that procedure of going down and, to doing an appeal, an in-person appeal and that. And I think in the paper, they're even suggesting you get an attorney, and which adds to the expense of it.
Well, there's a guy that,
our insurance costs are gonna go up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, there is these appraisers are going to charge they're going to 3-tier it.
Yeah.
It starts at $600. Okay, so you're going to spend $600, and if it looks like looks like they can defend you, then it's going to go to $800, and then it's the third phase is $1,000. Where your neighborhood's at, you're in the high-end district, you're starting out at $1,000. It's not starting at 600, you're starting at 1,000 in Brookside. So you're going to burn $1,000. Now, I feel bad for these poor people that have escrowed their taxes and insurance, and they had just had Christmas, and they get this love letter showing they're still paying on their credit cards, and they get this love letter stating they're short $1,500 and their escrows. It's just, whatever. We could talk to them blue in the face about it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you standing up keep putting this stuff in the paper, and people are reading it. I know I was one of them, so thanks for your editorial today. Anything else, guys?
Do we want to give Oliver direction in terms of contacting the county and?
Yeah. Oliver, can you go to battle there for us on behalf of our citizens out here?
Yeah, I'll draft communication
Okay.
and distribute that for review
Okay.
as soon as possible.
And if we get an answer that we're not too keen on, maybe we can have a press conference with Kevin and others to kind of put additional pressure on them and see what we can come up with. I don't know.
All right.
Thanks.
Anything for the good of the cause here? I'd like to motion to go to adjourn at 5:28.
Second.
Gentlemen?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
We be adjourned? Well, wait a second. We did not do the minutes. We did not.
We didn't.
Oh, okay. Let's unwind that. My bad. You want to just approve the minutes of the next meeting?
Probably, since we
Yeah,
don't do
well,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good.
We'll do that, yeah.
Good catch.
Yeah, too hard to unwind.